Anaheim Ducks 4-1. This was a game that the Rangers really deserved to win. They played very well, especially in the third period. Really strong in the third, as this was actually a tie game heading into the final period. The Rangers outshot the Ducks 20-3 in the final frame, and the Rangers are now 10-0-1 when tied going into the third period. So tie game, end of two, 10-0-1. That is remarkable. And it goes to show, while the Rangers have, as a lot of teams do, and the Rangers at times, it's been a bit of a problem where they have, lost some leads in the third. Still, obviously, you're tied going to the last period. Goes without saying, it's close, and they have found ways to win games. And this was an example of not even finding ways. They just were simply the better team. A really strong third period. And the Rangers outshot the Ducks 40-14 in this game. I mean, significant. And, I thought the Rangers came out strong. Second period was maybe not the best, but really they absolutely earned it. And what was good about this game was the Rangers did get contributions from unexpected sources. The Rangers, the COVID issues do continue, and that can't be taken lightly. Although I will say the new COVID players are not exactly, key pieces. And one could argue that. But Panarin's still, of course, this isn't including Panarin, who's still out. Panarin's still out. Shesterkin's still out with COVID. Patrick Nemeth, non-COVID issue, still out. So those are all, regular players. And now, non-COVID, but Jarred Tinordi, who got hurt, I said, in the last game, in the third period, he is out. I'm not sure how long. He was placed on IR, so I think that means that he'll be out at least a week. And he had been struggling lately. Julien Gauthier, placed on the COVID list. He has been not great lately. Ryan Reeves, who I mentioned last game, is someone who maybe shouldn't play every game. He also on the COVID list. So what that means, let's first talk about the defense. So I mentioned, the major struggles of Libor Hájek, and he was a healthy scratch. Replacing him in the lineup was actually Jarred Tinordi, who hadn't played in a while for the Rangers. He was the seventh defenseman for the most part this season. They did send him down to Hartford for a conditioning stint. He also was placed on the COVID list. I don't believe there was an injury at any point, but Sam Rosen on the broadcast side said that there was injury. I don't remember if that was true. Either way, he had not played in probably a couple of months, give or take. So he's back in the lineup tonight, and we'll talk about him. And also Zach Jones was put on the taxi squad. So he's still with the team, but not on the active roster. So Hájek, a healthy scratch. Zach Jones on the taxi squad. Bit of an unfortunate break for him. He didn't play well last game. Neither did really anyone else. And Hájek specifically was awful. But Jones takes the fall, and Nils Lundqvist comes back into the lineup. So the third pair was Tinordi, Lundqvist, and then the forwards. So now out, Dryden Hunt, Julien Gauthier, and Ryan Reeves, replacing them, Morgan Barron, who had been on the active roster but had just been a healthy scratch. He was in, as well as Tim Gettinger, who played one of the Tampa games when, I guess, Panarin had first initially been ruled out with COVID. And then also Johnny Brodzinski, who we saw a bit last season. Brodzinski in the lineup as well. So that would be essentially your fourth line. And they contributed in a big way. They were pretty effective, specifically Morgan Barron. But they were in. And so you have the same two lines, of course, that we've been seeing lately. And then the third line in effect was Rooney with McKegg and Hedl, with Rooney being the center on that line. I believe he was the one. It could have been McKegg. It wasn't. It's funny. Rooney, McKegg, and Hedl are really, they can all play center. But I think it was not, put it this way, it was not Hedl, which is interesting in how it relates to this game. But you hear all those players that I mentioned, the depth pieces, and you think, well, that can't be too good, but they actually played well. So different depth comes up big. So not Hayek, not Jones, but Tinordi, Lundqvist, not Hunt, not Gauthier, not Reeves, but Barron, Gettinger, Brodzinski, those depth guys come through. So the Rangers did have a 4-minute power play in the first period. Trevor Zegras, high sticks Morgan Barron, who was bleeding. So it's a double minor on Zegras. Barron draws the penalty. And Morgan Barron, that's 1+ for him in this game. And that power play, not great, that 4-minute power play. The first unit tonight was not particularly good. The second unit was better. Again, that depth tonight was actually better. Like Nils Lundqvist, I mean, this was on a later power play, but Lundqvist was pretty active on it. And, Jacob Trouba was taking some shots from the point, but the Rangers don't score it. But I felt like it was a pretty good first period. Rangers outshot the Ducks 12-7. Of note for the Ducks, they've had their own COVID issues as well. Therefore, no John Gibson. Anthony Stolarz was in net for Anaheim. And also Ryan Getzlaf was out. But other than that, the Ducks, it was a pretty, it was a lineup that you would typically see. Obviously, no Getzlaf and no Gibson's pretty big, but like defensively, like just about who they would normally have, maybe without one guy that I'm forgetting. But Anaheim's had a pretty good season this year. Will they make the playoffs when it's all said and done? I don't know. But it's a major step in the right direction. So we head to the second period. And in the second, Anaheim scores at 11:05 of the period. Really bad turnover by Keandre Miller. And we see Miller, turn the puck over a lot, but he's able to make up for it in most cases. He's not in this case. And it's Isaac Lindstrom who scores, beating Georgiev. And Georgiev wasn't tested much. He only saw 15 shots. Saved 13 of them. So Lundstrom scores, gives Anaheim a 1-0 lead. But the Rangers, less than 3 minutes later, respond. And it's Mika Zibanejad. Zibanejad scores to tie the game up, his 12th goal of the season from Kakko and Trouba. So that line's been pretty good. I still wonder if Kakko is the best fit for that line. Like, he might be better on the Panarin-Strome line, but either way, Kakko gets an assist there, and Zibanejad scores. So Zibanejad, with Panarin out, Mika has been playing better lately. There's no question that this is the Mika Zibanejad that you'd more hope to expect. So the Rangers are tied up at 1. Then Barclay Goodrow takes a penalty, kind of a weak call on Goodrow, but called nonetheless. The Rangers kill it off. Good penalty kill there. And that was at 15:44 of the second period. And Goodrow, he's been pretty good lately. Not one of his better games, I felt like, but nothing horrible either. So it's 1-1 heading into the third. Like I said, that stat. Going into this game, Rangers 9-0-1. Obviously, they win it. So 10-0-1 when tied heading into the third period. And the player that scores the game-winning goal would probably be, out of everyone, even with the Brodzinskis and the Gettingers, the player that you least expect to get the game-winning goal, he got it. Jarred Tinordi, his first goal as a Ranger. It was a shot from the point that goes off of a Ducks player and in. Same with the Zibanejad goal, where Zibanejad shoots it off of a Duck defender. And that's why shooting the puck is a good thing. And that's why I'm very happy to see the Rangers with 40 shots on goal. That's exactly the type of stuff, the Rangers too many times pass up, good opportunities. And tonight it was a little bit more of a shoot-first mentality. So Tinordi scores with assists from Rudy and Hedl. So that line on for a goal. Third pair, Tinordi, third line, Rooney, Hedl, McKenna as well on that line. Rangers take a 2-1 lead. 1:46 into the third period. And then Philip Hedl draws a penalty. This was a better game for Philip Hedl. And maybe him being on the wing is what he needs. Obviously, the mold of the team is better with him at center, but maybe he's just a better player at wing. I know he would prefer to play center as well, but you got to look into it. So Hedl draws a penalty. And the second pair the second unit does a really nice job on this particular power play. But they don't score. But 2 seconds after it's over. So essentially, it basically still is the power play. Gallant puts out the fourth line as there was a whistle. So probably with about 5 to 10 seconds left in the power play, he puts out the Barron line. And it's a goal for Ryan Lindgren. And a really nice screen by Tim Gettinger. Gettinger doesn't get an assist, but it's a goal for Lindgren, assisted by Fox and Morgan Barron. And that is Morgan Barron, I guess Morgan Barron's second point of his career. He did score a goal last season. So Morgan Barron's first assist of his career. And so that would give the Rangers a really much-needed 3-1 lead. So you got to go from Tinordi, you got to go from Lindgren, two defensemen that are defensive defensemen that you wouldn't expect to score, get big goals. And so that makes it 3-1. And then the Rangers, Greg McKegg takes a delay game penalty. You can't have that, obviously. And McKegg is someone who, I think gets more playing time than he should. But the Rangers are able to then draw a power play because of Anaheim's own undoing. Too many men on the ice penalty on the Ducks. So that makes it 4-4. There is no scoring. And then Ryan Strome is hooked by Cam Fowler later in the game. That gives the Rangers power play. Then they make the mistake of, unfortunately, not passing it around and keeping puck control, keeping, the puck away from Anaheim. Lindgren takes an interference penalty. So this leads to a 4-on-4 situation. So things could have gotten risky, but they don't. Rangers are able to hold the fort. And after the Lindgren penalty is over, he gets out of the box and scores. So it's actually a 2-goal game for Ryan Lindgren. You're not going to see that a whole lot, I wouldn't think, probably ever in the career of Ryan Lindgren. He's certainly not a stiff offensively, but that's not his game. But he scores, makes it 4-1, and the Rangers win by that score. A really, really strong effort from the Rangers. This was good. And the Rangers improved their record to 23-9-4. And now they head to LA to face a King team that's been playing better lately. And so they play the Kings and then the Sharks, two teams that are not playoff teams currently, and teams that I wouldn't really expect to make the playoffs, although the Western Conference is definitely the weaker of the two conferences. Those teams are in the hunt. Fighting teams like the Ducks for some of those last playoff spots. These will be, again, not easy games, but I would say the Rangers are better than both of those teams. But, the Kings and the Sharks, the Kings more so lately. The Kings are a pretty good defensive club. It's not easy to score goals against them, especially at Staples Center, or actually not called Staples Center anymore. But the Rangers, they'll have the work cut out for them, but I'm confident that, they should be able to play pretty good. The Rangers have done well against teams that they should be better than. They've struggled with teams, like a Vegas, like, let's say, the Maple Leafs. They haven't played Carolina yet, but I wonder how that would go. But yeah, Rangers win it and head to LA. Hopefully Artemi Panarin returns, but we'll see. But they've been able to win without him. So, in this COVID world, it's kind of a next man up mentality. And in this game, that absolutely was true. And it really helped the Rangers win in convincing fashion in a really strong third period.